It's 6 in the morning, dead of winter. You walk out to your $60,000 electric vehicle. Fully charged last night, you watch the app confirm it. And now? Nothing. The handles won't release. The screen won't wake. The car won't unlock. Your $60,000 machine is a paperweight sitting on your driveway, and you're going to be late for work. This isn't a dead traction battery. The main pack is full. This is something far worse. Something manufacturers have buried in technical bulletins and hidden behind warranty small print. It's called a total system blackout. And engineering data puts the failure rate at 11% across modern EVs within the first 3 to 5 years. They knew. They shipped it anyway. Let's talk about what a total system blackout actually looks like in the real world. No warning lights, no gradual degradation, no low battery notification the night before. One day, the car works. The next morning, it's completely unresponsive. The app can't reach it. The key fob does nothing. The physical backup key, if the car even has one, might get you into the cabin, but the vehicle still won't start. Across analysis of warranty claims, owner-reported fault data, and independent teardown reports, roughly 11% of modern electric vehicles experience a critical auxiliary power or gateway communication failure before the 5-year mark. Not a range reduction. Not a software glitch you reboot, a complete vehicle immobilizing failure. Now compare that to the marketing you bought into. No oil changes, fewer moving parts, lower maintenance costs. That pitch is technically true for the drivetrain. But what nobody told you is that EVs introduced an entirely new category of failure, a digital breakdown, silent, sudden, and eye-wateringly expensive. Every single one has 2 separate electrical systems. The first is the high-voltage traction battery. That's the big pack. The one measured in kilowatt hours. The one that moves the car. In most modern EVs, that's 70, 80, sometimes 100 kilowatt hours of energy sitting under the floor. The second is the 12-volt auxiliary system. Same basic tech you'd find in a 2003 Ford Focus. A small lead-acid or lithium auxiliary battery running your locks, your computer systems, your gateway modules, the components that act as the nervous system of the car. But here's where it gets wild. That enormous 400-volt traction battery cannot power the car's computers directly. The vehicle needs the 12-volt system to wake up first, to handshake, to authorize the high-voltage system to engage. If that auxiliary battery is dead, or if the gateway module that bridges the two has failed, the traction battery is completely isolated. You have 80 kilowatt hours of energy under your feet, and the car is completely dead. Modern EVs are never truly off, always on features, remote connectivity, over-the-air update readiness, app telemetry, geofencing, draw a constant parasitic current from that 12-volt system even when the car is parked and locked. In most ICE vehicles, the alternator tops up the 12-volt battery every time the engine runs. In an EV parked for several days during a holiday, a hospital stay, a long trip, there is no equivalent top-up mechanism functioning reliably. The battery management system is supposed to periodically wake the onboard DC to DC converter to recharge the auxiliary. But thermal loop bugs, software edge cases, and design oversights mean that top-up cycle either doesn't trigger or doesn't deliver enough charge under cold ambient temperatures. Below zero, auxiliary battery internal resistance spikes. The converter can't compensate. The 12-volt system silently drains to nothing. And the gateway module failure? Independent EV technicians pulling failed modules are finding cracked solder joints and corroded connectors on components that are 3 years old with normal mileage. That's a manufacturing specification failure, not driver error. The car's bricked, you've called the recovery truck, you're at the dealership. And now the service advisor slides a quote across the desk. 3,000 to 7,000 pounds, for a component failure that happened at 40,000 miles, just outside the factory warranty window. Here's what the dealerships don't want you to know. In the majority of these cases, the faulty component, a gateway module, a DC to DC converter, an auxiliary battery, costs between 80 and 400 pounds to source independently. Specialist EV technicians can bench test and repair them in 2 to 3 hours. But franchise dealers are trained to replace entire assemblies, not repair individual components. Their diagnostic software flags a faulty module. The software tells them to replace the module cluster. They replace the cluster. They charge you for the cluster, plus labor, plus calibration. The dealerships don't want you to know this. Independent EV specialists and EV-literate auto electricians can fix what the dealer won't even attempt to diagnose properly. Prevention first. If your EV will sit unused for more than 5 days, use a quality ANG battery maintainer wired through the 12-volt port or the OB port with an appropriate adapter. This bypasses the onboard converter entirely and keeps auxiliary voltage above the critical threshold. Tech and NOCO both produce units well suited to this, under 60 pounds, far cheaper than a bricked car. Know the warning signs. Sluggish door handle response, app connectivity dropping intermittently, a longer than usual delay before the dashboard boots. These are parasitic drain signals. Don't ignore them. Get the auxiliary battery voltage checked. A fully healthy 12-volt auxiliary should read 12.6 to 12.8 volts at rest. Below 12.2 volts, you're in the danger zone. Get a dedicated EV diagnostic tool or find a specialist who uses one. Apps like CarScanner Elm OBD2 paired with a quality Bluetooth adapter can surface auxiliary voltage data, BMS communication faults, and gateway error codes that the standard service interval will never flag. You should be checking this every 3 months. Here's the uncomfortable truth sitting at the center of all of this. The EV transition is the largest consumer technology rollout in automotive history. Manufacturers are shipping vehicles with software architectures designed for the connected era, bolted onto auxiliary power systems designed for the analog one. That gap between always-on software demand and legacy 12-volt hardware capability is not a quirk. It's a structural flaw. Some are already moving toward 48-volt auxiliary architectures, a genuine improvement. Others are implementing better software-level battery guardians, but the vehicles already in driveways, already past their warranty dates, are on their own. The EV revolution was supposed to be simpler, cheaper to run, less to go wrong. And in many ways, it still is, if you know where the real risks are hiding. Because the breakdown that strands you in 2025 probably won't come from a dead motor or a corroded exhaust. It'll come from an 80-pence solder joint on a 120-pound module that nobody told you to check.